And my dad, he was like, he told me, I remember it. He was like, you don't have to get a job if you continue to develop your baseball skills, because if you develop your baseball skills well enough, you will get a college scholarship, and that saves me more money in the long run. So
nice. So there's your motivation.
so
he's
that was
putting
my
quarters in the
motivation.
machine.
But the thing about it though is too, I always wanted to be better than somebody else. I always want to beat somebody else. When it's you in the batter's box and the pitcher on the other end, it's you and the pitcher, right? I mean, that's all there is to it, and there's nothing else really around you. That's the way I looked at it, and that I think taught me a lot about myself and the mental mentality you had to have, because in baseball you could fail 70% of the time and still be in the Hall of Fame.
Welcome to the Small Business Safari, where I help guide you to avoid those traps, pitfalls, and dangers that lurk when navigating the wild world of small business ownership. I'll share those gold nuggets of information and invite guests to help accelerate your ascent to that mountaintop of success. It's a jungle out there, and I want to help you traverse through the levels of owning your own business that can get you bogged down and distract you from hitting your own personal and professional goals. So strap in, adventure team, and let's take a ride through the safari and get you to the mountaintop. Oh my God, are we recording again, Alan? You told me to hit the button. I did. I don't know if I should.
I know, because the last 20 minutes have been amazing. And by the way, this bourbon, is it bourbon?
It is bourbon.
Delicious.
It's whiskey, bourbon,
It's
same
whiskey.
thing, right?
Well, some people would get mad at you for saying that.
I know. Well, that's a straight whiskey.
All right.
Yeah.
But the story behind this one is awesome. But before we get all the way into the story, we got to introduce who's with us. We've got Brad Dell from AOT Technologies here in Atlanta. We're excited to have him, but he brought a gift for us, and he brought this really cool whiskey bourbon. I don't care what you call it, but I'm going to let Brad not just introduce himself, but introduce the drink that we're having while we talk.
Yeah, Brad Dell, Atlanta Office Technologies. Doesn't matter if it's whiskey or bourbon; it still gets you drunk, right? So it doesn't matter. But
I guess that's true.
It's called Horse Soldier. You can only buy it in Florida. So I go down there once a year, more than once a year. We go to Florida, but every year we go down to Rosemary Beach, 30A for Thanksgiving, Saturday to Saturday. And I go down there and get a couple bottles of the Horse Soldier, because you can, like I said, only get it down there. And Horse Soldier is made, or was made, by the Green Berets. And those Green Berets rode on horseback to start the Afghanistan war after 9/11. So it's a pretty cool story. Then the actual outside of the bottle, when you take a look at it, the actual metal piece of it is from the Twin Towers.
So the label is metal.
The label, yeah.
Yeah.
The label is from the Twin Towers. So I collect the bottles. All of them are empty now, but I still collect them. So it's a pretty cool story. So, I mean, I drink them to get drunk, I guess, on a Friday or Saturday night to help my day go on in the right direction, or even go in the right direction. But it's just a great story.
It's an amazing story. Now, did they actually, does part of the proceeds go to some charity, Wounded Warriors or something like that?
You know, I'm not much of a reader, so if that's been published, I haven't read it. I don't know.
Maybe if you drank less.
Maybe just a little bit. Maybe save some brain cells.
Here we go.
It, right?
All right. And that's the story that gets us started, where we get to say
cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, fellas. Thanks for having.
All right. All right, Small Business Safari team, strap in. This is going to be a great story as you get to hear how Brad and his band of misfits, as they call themselves. They didn't call themselves that, but I call them that. Anyway,
you can call us that. That's fine.
Yeah. But before you did what you did, and he started a copier business, and think about that just for a minute, because if you're ever been in business, one of the things we used to say is, well, at least we're not selling copiers.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And look at him. He's selling copiers. But before you got to that, where the hell are you from? What did you do? And how did you get to this part?
Yeah, so originally from Fort Wayne, Indiana, or actually back up a little bit, northern Indiana, Cherubusco, Indiana, very small town. Probably can't even find it on a map. I can't even find it on a map. Born and raised there, very small, 2 stoplights, raised on 30 acres. My dad, mowed it by himself until he decided to outsource some farming, corn, bean, and wheat, and help pay for the property taxes, as he would say. And then my thing in 5th grade, get home, ride the go-kart, fill it up with gas, start it myself, ride it till the sun went down. Old Ken Griffey Jr. cleats, and then also Smith & Wesson glasses, my dad's second pair. So I'm originally from up there, and then got into this industry because my wife, then fiance was getting frustrated with me because I wasn't coming home because I had a job with RJ Reynolds out in Cumberland, Maryland. So, I was in my mid 20s, making decent money, what I thought was decent money at that time, and didn't try and find the job relatively too hard because I was frustrated because she was supposed to come out, right? But then she said no after we got married, so she duped me.
Oh no!
Continues to do that to this day, mind you.
Wow.
But
there's a lot of broken promises after that
Wow.
ring goes on.
That's so
I know.
funny how that happens.
Yeah.
That does never happen to you. Oh, yeah, anyway,
I mean,
go on.
I think
that's another different podcast, and my therapist has heard that one too.
we can set that up second time. But no, I would drive back on a Friday, then drive back to Maryland on a Sunday. And she applied for the job for me for Copier Sales through Facebook, through somebody who she knew of a person who was selling copiers, and ultimately applied for the job. And then I ended up getting the job, and 2 or 3 years go by in Indianapolis. And then we end up leaving Indianapolis and coming down to Georgia to start this business. So that's how we got here. But the story is a little bit deeper than that. It goes on a little further. I don't know how far or how deep you want me to go.
You're going good.
But I can go as deep as I want. But so, I mean, this whole thing got started back in 1999, Copico Office Solutions, by a gentleman named Bill Schmidt, and built that copier company to be the largest Canon dealership in the state of Indiana. Then in 2009, he got bought by Xerox, which now Xerox is coming back in and being big brother, because it was Global Imaging Systems. They report all the EBIT back up to Xerox, blah, blah, blah. There's about 40, 50 other core companies around the country like Copico that sold the Xerox products and services for them. So he got bought by them and cashed in some pretty good money, but had to stay on until 2012. I got hired on in 2011. And pretty soon after Bill left, we got somebody from Rico and Duluth to come run that business in Indianapolis. And we found out real quick we didn't want to work for that individual. And we tried to buy somebody around the country for, I don't know, a couple years, 2.5 years. And we got the closest in Marietta, Georgia. I'll never forget it, in 2014, Thanksgiving trip again, not to Rosemary, but to Siesta Key. That valuation from their president to, interesting enough, Bill Schmidt, we got him out of retirement, West Palm Beach. We clawed him out of his nice little residence down there to help us start this business from scratch. The owner of that company didn't agree to the valuation. And we're just like, let's just leave it. And we dropped that, and all of our stuff was already packed up in ABF freight, or mine was, outside my house. My house was already sold. So I turned to my wife, who we had maybe a 12-month-old, 13-month-old at that time. I was like, well, we're going to Georgia and starting a business from scratch. I could just tell by the look on her face. She wasn't too excited. So we got.
Well, I think at that point you probably should have said, "Well, you know what? This is your fault."
Yeah,
100%. I was thinking the same thing. You could have been in Maryland.
You could have been in Maryland. You know what? You didn't have to do that Facebook thing and put me in Copier Sales, which everybody knows is one of the hardest damn things in the world.
I know. She probably went through Facebook and she's like, "What is the job I can punish him the most with?"
Right. Yeah. And so he should have done what I would have done. Of course, I didn't. You know what, woman? This is your fault, not my fault. It's not your.
What you would have done, talk real big behind her back, but to her face, go, "Yes, dear." Yes,
as a matter of fact, I am the big man on campus right now in this house. You know why?
Because you're the only one here.
Exactly right. All right.
To her credit, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for her applying for that job. Okay?
I agree.
So you have to give her the credit for that.
I give her the credit. All right, but going back to it.
Yeah.
So you didn't blame her.
No, I didn't blame her. And she was like, "I didn't follow you once, I'll follow you this time." So, yeah.
Wow.
So believe it or not, I don't know what happened with three out of the 7 partners that we have now. All of our wives were pregnant at that time.
Whoa.
Must have been a Christmas party or something.
Who the hell knows? I don't know. A couple of them were born in July. Ours was born in August. So, I mean, go back 9 months. I'm sure you can figure it out. Let's see what was going on.
We have 2 hands.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back up.
Yeah, I mean, I still have to use my hands. I'm teaching math to my 3rd grade. I'm like 8, 16, 24. Okay, yeah, that's it. I can't do it. Okay, got it. But anyways, we get back to Indianapolis, and all right, that's the thing we're going to do. We're going to start from scratch, and that's exactly what we did. The coup, I guess, was for 4 of us to come down here and start this right away from nothing. 4 of us turned in our letters of resignation on a Friday after the business closed. We locked the doors, went across the street. Can't remember where it was, where we had dinners and drinks, came back, unlocked it, and slid a resignation door underneath the president's office and left, and never been back ever since. My wife was already up in Fort Wayne, Indiana, staying at her mom's house. And I had to stay the night at a friend's house, one of Brittany's friend's house, my wife's house. or my wife's friend's house. And 7 o'clock the next morning, Phil Van Gelder and I drove down to Atlanta, Georgia.
So you guys drove down. So it actually sounds very mafia.
My car
style,
was
right?
packed to the brim, by the way, with I don't even know what the hell. And the funny thing is, when we got down here, I know you don't know Phil.
I
right?
do know
you
Phil.
do know Phil,
Yeah,
so you know he's a
Phil.
cheap ass. So
I don't know him that well.
So you don't know him that well. Okay,
Well, he's
so
never bought me anything.
oh, well, that explains it. So that backs me up. So we stay at this hotel, and I'm like, it is. I don't even want to take my clothes off. To sleep. I slept in my clothes. That's how bad it was. Our CFO was already gone by the time I woke up in the morning to a Marriott. So we lived off Bill's Marriott points for 90 days. I was the last one to leave the hotel that we stayed at in Duluth because Bill's like, Brad, I'm running out of points. You got to leave. Because that's where we lived for 90 days and worked out up for 90 days.
So let's put this back together because we're getting to the thing that I think is the juiciest. So they start a business. They bring in a seasoned veteran. And we're going to start unpacking some of these points in a minute. But literally, they started a company out of a hotel.
Yeah.
They are all living in hotel rooms, and they started a company with nothing to fall back on.
In a new city.
In a brand new city.
With no contacts, no nothing.
No nothing, no contacts, no nothing. When you talk about starting a business from scratch, this is what scratch looks like.
How many of you were there?
4
in the same hotel room?
No.
Oh, thank God. See,
no.
My mental image was I could just see all 4 of them in the hotel room. Like, hey, it's time to go to work. Hey, make the bed. We got to make that the desk. And next thing you know, they're working out of their bedroom, which we had a guest on who actually worked out of a guy's bedroom years ago. But so you guys start this business. You come to, so you had a plan, right? When you came down, you knew what you guys were going to do. So what did you do?
Well, first of all, when we got down here, we relied a lot on Bill, just to be brutally honest. And that's just my opinion. The other guys might say something different, but that's my honest opinion. We searched for an office, and we're building out our office. We're still in that same office today. We outgrew that office, so probably about a year and a half. We hired our first technician in the conference room of that hotel, and that guy is still with us to this day. He's been.
And how many years are you guys in business right now? Just for
it'll be 8 years coming this February.
Solid.
So there's 4 of us. We have close to 30 employees now. Thousands of machines in the field. I have hundreds of clients. We did close to 13 million this past year from nothing.
So from 0 8 years ago to 13 million today, catch that number. And we're going to get back there because there's a lot of things that we got to get back to explain to people what's going down with this. So you talked about, I built out my office. I hired a technician. You had to find customers, man.
Yeah.
So how did you guys do that?
So it's funny. So I have a long sleeve shirt on today only because it was 32 degrees when I woke up and wanted to leave the house. Other than that, I wear a polo. And when we first got down here, we wore long sleeve shirts and ties because that's what we wore in Indianapolis.
That's right.
Yeah.
A little more conservative.
Yeah. A little bit more now. Bankers only the ones who do that. So
right.
So now I wear an AOT polo. That's what you see me in. But I would go through sleeves. And if anybody knows what a 1989 Topps complete set of 700 baseball cards looks like, right? It's that long white box of baseball cards in it. That's what new business cards look like. They come in that box. So I would go through, I don't know, boxes of those business cards, just cold calling, going to the top of businesses, starting at the very top and working my way down and hitting every single business that had a name.
So you're talking
about
about, I take a card. I don't know this person. I don't even know this address. I plug this thing in. I just go there and I'm just going to do a cold call.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why we all make fun of copier people. But we also say the first guy I'd ever hire is a guy who did copier sales.
Yeah.
So you do that. And so you go out there. How many no's did you get a day?
It seemed like every door I pulled, like you're pulling handles is what it's called, right? Like you pull some handles, you pull that door open. Everybody said, oh, we just signed on a 3-year lease. It seemed like every door I pulled or every single one or every other one was I just signed. And we just had to keep good track record of that. And if you didn't keep good track record of that, you would lose that information. And our industry is so competitive. The next person who pulls that door, if they say something better than you or have a better relationship or keep better track of that information or that cold call you made, they're going to get that deal, not you. And when you're coming down here, it's all hands on deck. You don't lose. You win. You have to win, right? Because there's no money coming in.
So you guys come down here, there's 4 of you, and you're all 100% on sales.
No.
Okay.
So let's back up a little bit. There's about 10 or 11 employees that work for us today that are all from Indianapolis, that we all work together.
Gotcha.
Up there. The first 4 that came down here, I've known for 11 years. They're like the ride or die of their family. You know what I mean? Um, so Matt Miller is our CFO. He was our CFO up there in Indianapolis. Phil Van Gelder was our VP up there in Indy. He's a partner down here and also sales. Dave Collier, who I interviewed for or the job in Indianapolis first, and who Brittany applied to the job for me too, is down here. And then me, Phil, and Dave were making the cold calls and making the sales. And ever since August of 2015, when we did about $250,000 of hardware sales, we've never looked back. And I would say since December, we've been cash flow positive. So that's a great thing.
That is solid. So when you guys get down here, you get rolling, you get moving into it, you make the first sale and you get the first check. What'd you do?
Well, Dave made the first sale. Give him credit for that. That's going in the AOT Smithsonian. Whenever it's AA001. Well, I mean, I don't know what Dave did with the money. Who knows at this point? But when we did the first sale, I mean, it was just, we're not an overly excitable, or we don't get excited too much of a bunch. We're really not, because you make a sale, you've got to keep moving. You've got to keep your feet moving. You can never get comfortable. Because when
you guys never got too high nor too low.
That's the key with it, I really think, in this industry, is never getting too high with the highs, never getting too lows with the lows. Because if you do, the world or this industry will smack you right back down.
So where do you think you got that from?
I'm not really too sure. I think a lot of it has to do with my athletic background, mental mindset, mental toughness. I really
let's talk about that for a minute. We jumped right to, I was out in Maryland. We went from Fort Wayne, Indiana, riding go-karts to Maryland.
Missed a lot there, but
we didn't miss a lot. I was waiting for it because you said, because I love, and that's what drove me to bring you on this podcast and introduce you to Alan. And Alan hasn't had a chance to talk to you much, so I'm going to shut up after this. But why don't you tell him a little bit about your background in athletics and how that helped shape that mindset that you had today to build this company?
Yeah, so I've been playing baseball since I was 6 years old. My dad was a pretty athletic guy. Played 4-year starter, varsity letterman, playing basketball, and pretty aggressive, rough guy when I would play sports with him. Didn't take it easy on me as a kid. So I played sports, played baseball. That was my thing. Figured out I could throw and hit a baseball pretty well by the time I was maybe 9. Hit my first home run over 200 feet when I was 9. I think my parents missed it. They were, I think, in Colorado Springs at the time, and had to call and tell them, or from my grandpa's. I can
introduce you to my therapist if that's a problem.
Yeah, no, it still bugs me. Still bugs me to this day. It was a black
Your
and
therapist
red.
needs to be a sponsor, by the way.
She should.
Black and red Louisville Slugger, but that wasn't the best bet I ever had. But anyways, so I started playing ball, like I said, 6, hit first home run when I was 9. Started playing travel ball in a Sandy Koufax league, Mickey Mantle league, when I was around 11, 12 years old. Won the state championship when I was 11. And a lot of those guys I played with, I played all the way through, I'd say maybe 13, 14 years old. And we'd travel in very small town, but we were also corn-fed boys that could hit a ball and put us against anybody, and we'd beat you. I mean, I remember my high school team, we won well over 100 games in 4 years. That's still a record at our high school. And a lot of my guys on my team went on to play college baseball. So I would literally go to this place called Pages Crossing in Columbia City and Indiana. And it was about, 15, 20 minutes from where I grew up. I'd wear those batting cages out. And my dad, he told me, I remember it. He was like, you don't have to get a job if you continue to develop your baseball skills, because if you develop your baseball skills well enough, you will get a college scholarship. And that saves me more money in the long run. So
nice. So there's your motivation.
So he's in the machine. But the thing about it though is too, I always wanted to be better than somebody else. I always wanted to beat somebody else. When it's you in the batter's box and the pitcher on the other end, it's you and the pitcher, right? I mean, that's all there is to it. And there's nothing else really around you. That's the way I looked at it. And that, I think, taught me a lot about myself and the mental mentality you had to have, because in baseball, you could fail 70% of the time and still be in the Hall of Fame, right? So I think that's where a lot of it comes from, is the athletic background. And then I go to college and play baseball at a junior college right out of high school, which was in Champaign, Illinois. Played there for 2 years, then ended up transferring back to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and played at Indiana Tech for another couple of years. It's an NAI school, just like SCAD. So, I mean, the JUCO was basically a bunch of idiots who could just play baseball, right? And I played with Adam Lynn, Jeff Samardzija, a couple professional baseball players, then ended up transferring back to Indiana Tech. And after I got done playing, I went on to play competitive slow pitch softball. Believe it or not, that is extremely competitive. You have a lot of people in those leagues who played professional baseball, college, things like that. But then again, the wife comes into play. When Harper was born, she was like, Brady, you gotta stop traveling. So I'd play once a week, from 6 to midnight and Thursdays. And I ended up playing with this IT director from the Children's Bureau, ended up selling him a ton of copiers. So, I mean, it all kind of goes back to the copiers. It all goes back to sales and business,
Right. So that's why I jumped off and said, all right, let's get back to that mindset. It's that mindset that we talk about, and we've talked about this before, but that athletic mindset, there's something to playing a team sport and also having something, and Brad brought out one, when it's you against the world, I'm going to win. And if you have to have that mindset, if it's me against you, I'm going to beat you. And that's a hard thing to talk about when you're talking about with other people. But when you start a business, the tenacity that you have to have starting a business is that mentality, right? You think about what we've got to do when you get out there. It's me, and I got to put food on the table. Actually, Brad said that right before we got on the air. I said, even today, you still, after this time, just said that same phrase. He goes, I did, because that's how I think every day. It's me, and I got to put food on the table. It's me or you. And if I got
to imagine when he's going out at the very beginning and he keeps hearing this, I've already just signed a contract, and you're like, who is that guy? I'm going to get him. And you kind of create this image in your mind of whoever it was that beat you to that particular customer.
It's creating the image, but it also pisses you off because it makes you mad because you weren't here in 2014 to beat that person, right? So you want to find out who that company was. And then when you find out who that company was, you find out who the person is that you run into the majority of the time. But when you do, you know who that person is. You know how they sell. You know how you know how that business goes to market. You know how to beat them at their own game. And Copier Sales is hard, but it's not that hard. The hardest thing is to beat down the door to get in there, to talk to them, to try and sell them something. That is the hardest thing that we had to do for the first 2 years to be down here. Now it's all about who do you know? I want to connect to you. I don't want to sell to you. I want to sell through you. And that's where I think a lot of people still miss the game or miss the boat a little bit is they shouldn't be selling to you or to you. They should be selling to who you know. And if you need something great, you're going to reach out to them, but they need to be selling through you.
What's that sound like?
The network.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Let's hit one. This is one of our biggest hot buttons we talk about all the time. So let's jump into that. So the first of all, I want to pin that and call it good, man. That was awesome. The mindset you have to be successful in business is I'm going to beat you.
Scorched earth.
You got to take it down.
4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Take no prisoners.
I love it.
Yeah.
You guys are dropping total nuggets.
Win at all costs. That's what it really is.
Man, I want this bulletin board material. I want this stuff. Let's go. I'm ready to go out there and kill somebody.
I mean, I went after a deal 2 or 3 months ago, and I did it out of pure principle because I wanted to beat the person, or I wanted to beat that company so darn bad. I knew maybe for us margin wise on the asset on the copiers itself, or even hell, the copies might not have been that good. But I didn't give a shit because I wanted to beat that company. I wanted to take their business that bad that I was going to go after it and I was going to win it no matter what it took.
You want their kids to be whining to their parents, why aren't we eating tonight?
Why can't I go to Rosemary Beach for Thanksgiving? Because Brad.
What is the age-old saying? Timid salespeople have skinny kids. My kids aren't going to be skinny.
Hey, oh my God, that's gold nugget number 3. Timid sales have skinny kids.
No, timid salesmen.
Timid salesmen
have skinny kids. My kids will never be skinny.
Yeah. I got to ask a question. I'm dying to know. And I didn't quite catch why you all went to Georgia other than it's great down here. But 4 partners to start. Is that right?
6 total partners. We picked up one more along the way.
I mean, we've talked about this quite a bit. Partnerships are hard. I mean, with 2 people is what most people think about. How much time did you put into thinking about what does this look like and how are we going to be able to work together and when times get tough and things like that?
Yeah. To be honest, Phil, Bill, and Matt did a lot of that behind the scenes before anybody else really got involved, to be honest. We have partner meetings once a month to go over the financials, go over any questions, kind of any points within the business that we need to improve on, things of that nature. But we all have different personalities, but all those different personalities come together really well, like glue, in my opinion. I think with that many partners, you have to have that cohesiveness in a business when it comes to the partners. And it's not easy. It is hard at times.
Well, especially
But-
when money's on the line.
Yeah.
That can create some stress. I mean, with the 6 people, was everybody in equally, or did some people put up cash and other people put up sweat equity?
So good question. Phil, Bill, and Matt.
Chris hates it when I ask a good question.
No, that's a great question. That's a very honest question. I'll give you a very honest answer. Phil, Bill, and Matt
And I
put
put
up.
myself on mute. And that's bullshit. He even doubled down and said, "Oh, it's an even better question."
This question is getting better all the time.
All right, go ahead, answer your question.
I
think it was good too.
They put up money, and they own it. Bill is the majority owner. Phil and Matt also own more than Dave and myself and Kevin, Bill's son, and then there's another partner that we have as well. So they own a little bit more than what the rest of us do because they put in money. But we came down here. Dave and I put in the sweat equity to earn that percentage that we have. And would I have put in money if I was asked? Yeah, would it have been a huge number? No, because it was 10 years ago now since this idea came about. I was 28 at the time. I didn't have that much laying around to put into it, to invest into it. But I would have to maybe get a little bit more of the share. But I'm appreciative of what I have and what I have been given through the sweat equity. And I'm okay with where I'm at, and I'm happy with where I'm at. And that's a really good question. Even though there's different pieces to the puzzle, there's different percentages that we all own. We all feel like we are the same, moving towards the same common goal. I know that may be a boring question or boring answer, but yes.
How many partners again?
There's 7 in total.
Think about that. You know how many partners I have?
1.
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
Actually, the other one doesn't.
You don't play well with others, though.
I don't. I would have been horrible at this. I've been like, you know what, dude, I get the bed, you do get the couch. And I'm out of this flea hole. I'm going to the Marriott. I'm not just going to the Marriott. I'm going to the Courtyard. No, not the Courtyard. I'm going to the full-on Marriott.
Yeah.
And you know what? Screw you guys. I would have been horrible. So you guys are able to pull this off, and you've done it to this day, but it shows you power in numbers. 8 years, and they're at, what was that number again?
Close to 13 million in total.
How about
revenue.
that number?
Yeah.
That's not a bad pie to share.
No, it's not. I mean, it's great. I mean, I'm happy with where I'm at. I want more. I'm not done. I don't think any of us are done. I'm never really happy or satisfied. Because I go back to, if you do get happy and satisfied and get lazy, the world bites you in the ass. This industry bites you in the ass, and it'll knock you right back down. So you got to be hungry. You got to fight for that $1,000 deal. Yeah, everybody wants a $100,000 deal, but sometimes the thousands are better, and they are still good because they still contribute, they still print, they still move the needle.
Did you guys have an operating agreement when you got down here? Did you have if it all goes to hell, this is what it's going to look like?
Maybe Phil, Bill, and Matt did, but not the rest of us until a little while ago. We've done those a couple different times. We do have a partner agreement between all of us for sure. Yeah.
But did you start with one?
I'm sure they did. So I think the answer is you didn't.
I did not.
I think I got that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured that out.
Yeah.
You know, I love how he's talking about this.
Made him work harder.
Yeah.
But see, I didn't know I was going to get that sweat equity, right?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Just
Oh.
one day in 2016, Bill was like, "We're going to give you X," and then at year 10, you're going to get more.
So that was after you moved.
That was after we moved. That wasn't even before. So I was just, I don't want to say this, but I was just a salesman or a cog in a wheel to help it grow, and it was just them three at the very beginning.
But you came down here making zero. They didn't say, "Hey, Brad, come on down. We're going to give you 60,000 a year."
Yeah.
You just go out there, man, give it your best shot. They came out here and said, "Hey, it's zero.
Yeah.
And if you want to scratch your ass and go get something done,
Yeah.
you got to go do that." Right.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't even until 2016 until we had the conversations of, "You're going to get this after sweat equity." We had it was just gifted to us out of the blue. Just Bill pulled us in and was just like, "Hey, this is what's going to happen."
So I don't necessarily recommend that to our listeners,
Right.
but
That's
that's
a
awesome.
chance.
Yeah. You know, that's the entrepreneurial spirit. You got to have balls, and then you move your family to another state and you have no idea what's going to happen. And
Yeah. Well,
you just start working.
failure was never an option, was never even a thought. And the reason I say that is
I wish the listeners could see the look in his eyes when he just said that.
Yeah, it's totally. I mean,
Yeah.
it was, yeah. So let's describe that look. That look was total determination
Yeah.
and laser focus, right?
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like if you were in the room, you're getting taken down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If I said, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting a copier company," he probably I'd be down right now in a chokehold and dying.
Yeah.
Because number one, I'm old and fat, but that's a different story.
Yeah. Again, he's a
Another
lot better looking and younger and
Yeah.
everything. Why
But-
do you keep doing this to us, Chris?
Because
Is everybody in the world better looking and younger and more hair than us?
I think we're starting to figure out, but we do
Yeah.
have wisdom spots on one side.
I do
and
have
a
wisdom
knowledge
spots.
tire over here.
That's right.
Wisdom spots. I love that one. So getting back to the partnership. So
Brad doesn't even know what that is.
No, it's cool, man. It's okay.
because he has none of it.
No.
Yeah, he does. No knowledge tire and definitely no wisdom spots.
No.
Yeah.
Not yet. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Well, you'll get there one day.
Yeah.
Don't worry, kid. You'll be one of us one day. Oh, that's right. We're talking to you.
Yeah, you've got this to look forward to, Brad.
Yeah. So
Hey, it's okay.
so you talked about one thing that we said, man, we got to get back on this, and we love the networking idea. And one of the things I did and I've really appreciated about knowing Phil and knowing you
Yeah.
is you guys totally all in, and it's your network brings your net worth, and you know that selling through other people makes you not a copier salesman. Because we've had, if you remember Willie Loman in the salesman days, right, the guy who sold paper. I remember having a paper salesman come in. All he did was sell notebook paper and envelopes and cards, and he came into our networking group, and he was probably the worst networker I've ever seen. I love the guy, and the guy's name, by the way, was Rich Sale. Perfect, right?
Perfect.
Wow.
I was in my networking group, and he was probably 70, 80 years old, actually, a Vietnam vet. Really liked the guy. Horrible networker. So let's talk about how you guys use network to get around and build your net worth.
I didn't believe in it for the very longest time. I was just raised old school, man.
You were just an assassin, a hired gun killer.
It was, and to Dave's credit, he got me into it because I mean he joined a BNI group first, and he got some different sales and got some sales from it, and then I was like, all right, if Dave can do it, I can do it. So I got into a BNI group, and ultimately ended up getting out of the BNI group, got into another Wednesday group, where I picked up my largest deal or largest client I've ever had, great client, and then I'm in a Thursday group as well. And ever since 2020, I've just been determined to meet as many people as I possibly can. And I think what I'm going to do now and moving forward is like you can meet people and then you can have a good lunch meeting. And then all of a sudden you never talk to them again. Right. And it's almost on you to continue that relationship. You got to treat them like a current client. You have these 30 people, 40 people in my sphere that I've talked to that I think are good relationships that I can sell through and really help other people to get connected to as well. And I'm going to basically build an Excel spreadsheet and reach out to them every 90 days, 120 days to continue to work with them, share lists, what are you working on? How can I help you? And, vice versa. And I think it's crucial in this day and age too. I think COVID, the year from hell, changed a lot of perspective when it comes to sales. You can't do it you can do it the old fashioned way, but you need to change it up. You got to be different a little bit, and you have to continue to build that network.
Explain a little bit more about how you're different now, using the network and using that. Tell us a little bit of how you did that.
Yeah, I mean, I never used to have lunch meetings, and it's like every week now I have a lunch meeting every single day, a coffee every single day to meet somebody. And like I said, I was so old school. I would just go out and just beat the streets, just pound the pavement all day, every day to find the deals. And I kept seeing people get deals easier through that. And like I said, if I was like, if he can do it, I can do it. So that's why I got into it. And I've even changed my mentality a little bit where I'm not so old school, hard-nosed person, hard-nosed individual to go get the deal, to go to the top of the building and work my way down. I've been doing this for 11 years. I want to have it be easier, and I want to have the deals easier. So I think getting referred in is easier. Now that doesn't mean a guaranteed win, right? But
no, but your chances of closing on a referral are infinitely stronger than just doing door pulls.
Oh yeah, I'll even do you one better. A referral from a current client is even stronger than a referral from like Jonathan Ellis or from you or someone else, because you already have their business. and they're going to put their neck on the line to refer you into someone they know who's
it's
a friend
done
or
deal.
relative.
It's your deal
right?
to lose at that point.
Yeah, it is. As long as I don't walk in there.
It's a slower process. So having all these lunches and coffees at first was probably tough for you because you're like, no, I could be pulling on X amount of doors by now, and I know I've got a certain percentage, appointment rate, and then I got a certain percentage close rate, blah blah blah, and that math you knew.
Yes.
But then you get into the network thing, and it's like, God dang, this is taking forever.
Yeah,
but it's just a much higher quality deal, I think.
Well, that's a funny point that you make, or an interesting point that you make. Is that, yes, I'm an impatient person.
He said funny point. That doesn't count.
But then it's interesting though.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
All right, go ahead.
It is a good point because I'm an impatient person. Anybody who knows me, I'm impatient. And when I'm sitting down talking to somebody,
I'm surprised we're here talking because
I know
I'm very patient.
I tried to keep the straight face.
Tried. Okay. Anyway, all right. So go.
Well, I do have a question. So, you're old school, you're a closer, you're an assassin, and that's a different personality from a networker. And usually somebody in a network is going to see this guy's just kind of using me. So,
well, that pisses me off if somebody ever said that to me.
No, they would never say it.
But I don't like it when somebody also comes around. He always wants to just sell me something. No, that's not me. People lease these things over 5 years. If I come around after you just got it 6 months ago, do you think I'm going to try and sell you something again? No, I'm going to come around.
How pissed off you are.
Well, I can't financially, but I just want to come around and talk to you and do an account management. But you are right to loop the impatient thing. And like if I'm sitting there for an hour at first doing a lunch with somebody, my mind is going crazy because I can feel my phone vibrating. People call me like, what the hell's going on? But now I've kind of calmed down to the point of in those hour meetings, sometimes those hour meetings, or a lot of times those hour meetings are better than going making cold calls to try and find that new business because you don't know who that person is until you meet him. You don't know who that person knows until you talk to him. And I've kind of calmed down in that nature a little bit and relaxed a little bit more.
Are you finding that you actually enjoy getting to know people?
Oh yeah, I love to get to know people. I love to get to hear their businesses and how they approach different things. Because like to use the word golden nugget, you can get a golden nugget from anybody on how they approach business and how or how they're doing. And I really do enjoy getting to know people. And in my networking groups, like I can gauge and range my personality towards someone, how I think that individual is going to be, or after I meet them within 5 minutes. Can I be overexcitable? Can I be very energetic? With a lot of people, can I be me? Yeah. But if someone's very dull and calm, I'll become dull and calm.
Like a chameleon effort, right?
Yeah. So Collier back in the day when I said like he still uses the got to be a chameleon thing in my first interview 11 years ago, to me all the time. You have to be a chameleon in any sales industry that you're in, any widgets that you're selling. You have to be, because you don't know who you're going to talk to.
And so we doubled down on that here at the Trusted Toolbox, where I use the DISC profile to help people understand how a chameleon works, right? So I don't know if you've used the DISC profile, but we use it, and we talk about your high D, your high driver, your guy who's going to go out there and make it all happen. Extroverted, going after it, just got to get it all done. We have the other extroverted side that says, hey, they're emotional. They just want to get to know you, want to like you. You just got to tell them how much and when. You get those introverts where you really got to figure out what's going on. And you realize as another guy who's not an introvert, you got to drop it down. You got to bring it way back down. And I didn't learn that early on. And I went and talked to this lady at a house one time. I was in her house, right? I'm telling her everything, and I'm lording over her, and she's this little gray-haired lady, and I'm thinking she loves me. And I didn't win the job. I'm like, what the hell happened? And I learned about this DISC profile. I'm like, oh my God, she thought this big fat Italian guy was going to eat her.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm hitting it off, man. This chick loves me.
Yeah.
She was like, oh my God,
I am on fire. I got my A game today.
I got my A game, baby.
Yeah.
So you learned the chameleon effect.
You have to. I mean, if not, you're just going to push everybody away, or at least half the people away. Yeah. And in groups, you do have to. Yeah, at heart, I'm a salesperson, and in those groups, I want to get to meet you. I want to know you, and if I become your friend, great. But I want business, and I want to make money. That's the ultimate goal, right? At the end of the day, in some of those networking groups, or the majority of them, and I will tell them that. I'm not going to hide that. I'm there for a reason. I'm there for a goal. I don't get up at 5:45, 5:30, sometimes on a Wednesday to go to my 7 o'clock meeting just to become friends with somebody. I want to go there and I want to find out who you know. How can I help you get more business? How can you help me grow my business? That's I think how you almost have to approach those networking groups.
Go ahead, Alan. You don't have anything? I thought you
Go ahead. I'm thinking.
I love this.
Yeah.
Because if you don't go network with a purpose, you're really just there for funsies, man. And that's the thing that we didn't talk about in networking. And I think with networking, you have to have a purposeful agenda, right? You can't just be that rich sales guy who's going, and you also can't be the fun-loving guy who's just going to sit there and get hammered and talk to everybody. Go, I love you. I love you too.
Well, but it's such a fine line. And this is what was going through my mind is because, I used to run the Johns Creek networking group.
Right.
And we'd have somebody come in who 100% all they were there for, and everybody's there to grow their business. But somebody was just like really obvious. And all they wanted to do was get your card. You were a mark. Everybody knew was a mark. We called them leg humpers.
That's great. Yeah. That is awesome. That's another golden ticket.
That is a gold nugget right there.
And what happens?
Don't be a leg humper, baby.
What happens when something's humping your leg?
I'm stealing that. You're not trademarker, right?
No, go ahead.
You
just shake the leg humper off. You don't want anything to do with it.
You know what? You can trademark it if you get there faster than me.
Okay.
But the one thing Brad's saying is how can I help your business? But the fact is, are you willing to do that? And can you help the other person's business? Because
seeing it in action, watching these guys in action, the AOT team. I know Phil, and I've met Brad, and I've seen him in action.
And Phil's good looking too. I think there's something going on here with the hiring.
Well, you know what? You're right.
I don't think you or I could
make practice.
I
think we get aged out. Age is we should apply. Then therefore we get age as a
thing. It has anything to do with the age. I think it's just freaking how we look.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah.
All right.
You need more hair.
What?
A lot more hair.
And here I am.
I need some product. You got a nice beard going.
Thank you.
I know.
But it's all great.
I'm trying to figure it out.
After all this, I have no hair. I start to find
you got to look into it. Look at my goatee. It's just freaking gray.
It is. I know. I took a chance, so I'm going full beard for a while. Christmas whiskers. But back to this. Right. I've seen these guys in action. So you're right. You do that pessimistic. All right, man. I hear you. You know, you're a good looking guy. You're talking this. What can I do to help you? And then boom, you get an email from one of them going, hey, is this guy a good lead for you? Because I just met him and he said he needs some help in the house. Hey, this guy. And you're like, oh my God, these guys are giving. And they are. And so when you're out there in the marketplace, these guys are giving you leads. And what are you doing? These guys are top of mind for me. Do I run across a lot of people who need copiers? And, at this point in my life, I'm just not out in the field as much, but I do run across a lot of business owners. And I was like, well, dude, if you're going to do this stuff and go like that, you at least need to talk to these guys. Just talk to them, man. Just talk to them.
Yeah, because almost everybody that has a business is pissed off at their copier.
Of course.
Along the way. And it's all about giver's gain, to take the BNI a little bit.
There it is.
Giver's gain.
Giver's gain.
I drink the Kool-Aid at least once. To giver's gain. And it's consistency. It's about showing up and being there and being consistent and doing what you say you're going to do. If I'm going to give a referral to somebody, by golly, by the end of the day, by the end of the week, sure as shit, you're going to get that referral from me. I'm going to introduce you because I told you I would do it. And I'm a man of my word. If I don't do it, then I can't sleep at night. That's just how it is.
This is another thing that people aren't catching. If you're not catching what he's putting down, if you just do what you say you're going to do, you're ahead of 90% of the people out there.
Exactly. It's higher than that.
95?
Maybe 99% of the people.
It might be 99.
Let's make up the stat.
There's hardly any integrity out there anymore.
Yeah, right. This is scientific.
Well, and when 99. They do it, but when they do it, you're like, you know what? I believe this guy. And that's how I've come to know these guys over the years. And you're like, you're right. I mean, these guys, do I have a lot of opportunities for them? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. And they don't care either. But when that opportunity happens, they're there and they're top of mind and you're there. And that's where the new sales mantra comes from that I think you were talking about. That's where I thought you were going.
Yeah.
Is that if you stay there, you stay top of mind and you do what you're supposed to do, people remember you and then you get a chance to go in there and do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, no, that's because if I sell 10 deals a month, 2 out of those 10 may be referrals. And that's great. That's really all I need is 20%. Right. And I will take that 20% all day, every single day.
So as we keep rolling through this, you guys have built a great business. And you're clearly at a point in your career where things are going right. Are you guys actually thinking about an exit strategy? Are you guys thinking about leaving? Or do we say we can't do that? Because if I think about that, here's the big thing. And I know I'm talking to a young guy, but when people say,
I just love the reaction he had.
He did. He just gave me the, Well, because when you start
No,
thinking
it's
about
been discussed 77,000 times.
right, because the guy who funded this thing, Dave, who you pulled out of West Palm,
No, Bill.
Bill out of West Palm comes up, and now he's like, "Hey guys, it's time to fund my new big boat because I need
to go back to the beach.
I don't need 50. I need 75 feet."
He lives
of
in
a
Milton
boat.
now, by the way.
Oh, whoops! Well, you guys pulled him in.
Oh no, he's here. He's invested. I mean, he ain't going nowhere.
I love it. But when you guys get into it, here's the hard part. You guys have grown a great business and you continue to grow a great business. Is it growth or is it exit? And if you guys have thought or talked about exit, how hard is it to compartmentalize exit versus I got to keep growing, baby. I got to keep going.
I wish Phil was sitting here.
Okay.
That's a great question for us both. Phil has a great answer. He's very passionate about this. That's a tough question to answer.
Well,
Phil and I
what would be your goal?
My goal?
Yeah, give us ours. Give us yours, and then you know what? If he's good enough, maybe I'll bring him on. I don't know yet.
Well, you need to be both. You need to bring both of us on.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll bring you back.
Maybe Dave too. Who the hell knows?
All right.
If you want my honest answer, I want growth right now.
Okay.
I'd love to get it to 16, 18 million, keep it at that for the next 20 years and get rid of it.
Okay.
What about other markets?
Probably not going to happen.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I can sell anywhere from here.
Because
Why
you
do I
need to have it
else?
local. That's one of the things we've talked about, especially in franchising, is you build an idea, you build a model, and then you let other people run it. And then here I am and talking to other people, and I'm going, I'm not going to franchise my idea. I said, man, I'm going to move. And I had one of my buddies say, why would you do that? You know Atlanta so well. Why wouldn't you just absolutely tap Atlanta as hard as you can? Why do you want to go to Nashville? Because you can't control Nashville. That's 4 hours away. Yeah. You can't control Charlotte. That's 3 hours away.
Yeah. What's the market in Atlanta? What's the total size of the market for your industry?
Oh, geez. I really think we can make this thing as big as we want to make it. Quite honestly.
Wow.
Just think about Atlanta in itself and how many businesses are coming here and how great of a city this is to do business and how many businesses are moving up out of Buckhead, maybe out of Midtown, out of Atlanta, coming up north. I think the opportunities to continue to grow this business in the right direction are really endless. Georgia's a Georgia, right? It's going to continue to do business. It stayed open the whole entire time during COVID.
Yeah.
I've been out seeing
Amen
people.
for that.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I mean, I was able to put food on the table for my girls because of that. And I was out seeing people making cold calls since May of 2020. And I say this all the time. I would make cold calls in 2020. And at the end of that cold call, I would ask the person at the end of that door who didn't open fully or talk to me through the window or hell, you let me in fully. Who the heck knows? It just depends on the industry. I'd ask them, what are your thoughts? What are your opinion of me stopping in? And they would say, I understand what you have to do in your industry. So that was full game on for me after that. So I just
really powerful.
I love that.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so powerful. COVID infected the entire world, not just the US, the entire world, and continues to here in the end of 2022. And it's crazy what that's done. But he just hit on our small sliver of the world, and that's Georgia. And what happened for us is we enjoyed a lifestyle that many people did not get to enjoy.
No, we don't get into politics, but thanks to our governor for that.
Yep. And we're not going to, because I know you know him personally, and because of that, I'm also a big fan. And
he's a
supporter.
badass.
He is a badass.
Yeah.
But he did what we just talked about. He put food on the table, and without, by the way, impacting other people or potentially taking down people who are COVID sensitive. So he did it the right way. I mean, the whole thing, I think, was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, your industry, I mean, just that kind of sales in general. I mean, I was thinking about that. It's like, how are these people surviving? You just can't build a relationship on Zoom.
No, you can't. And I will turn down Zoom meetings to this day.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I had a guy email me today. Do you want to do Zoom, phone, or in person? I go, I don't know what the first two are, but I'll meet you doing the third.
Solid.
In person.
Speaking of that, you talked about that. I feel bad for these guys. I was like, but I feel so bad for the strippers. Oh my God, different podcast. Shit, I can't believe I brought that up. Because where did those poor people go? They couldn't do anything either during COVID.
Oh, trust me, I'm sure they were doing something.
Oh, Okay.
But I'm glad you were thinking about them, Chris.
I was.
Yeah.
I was like, I think we should.
I was thinking about
GoFundMe.
I was thinking about
campaign.
door-to-door copier salesman. You were thinking about strippers. I'm glad we were, both thinking.
We
about...
did have a copier at a strip club in Indianapolis, believe it or not.
Solid.
I had to go run a service or a sales call there once. It was probably the best sales call I ever did.
Nice. I had to do.
Are you sure your copier is working? Let me make sure.
I got to do some color Pantone matching here, guys.
Nice. You know what? We all have those stories, especially in the handyman business that I was in. I had one where a guy says, "Hey, I need some ceiling tiles replaced in a ceiling at the facility I have." I'm like, "Okay, what's the name of it?" He goes, "It's the Wawa Spa." I'm like, "Oh, I'm the only one going. There's no way I'm sending one of my
spa.
I'm not sending not one of my guys there because there's no way they come out of there." And sure enough, there were things there I saw that I've never seen before in my life. I mean, as much as we talk about this, I'm a little naive. And I walked in there and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm just looking up the whole time. Oh, yeah. Counting tiles. 1, 2, 4, 7, 12. Okay, Mama San, I'm out of here. Okay, bye. Yeah, here's a number. And they're like, okay, we like it. I'm like, oh, crap. Who's going to put this thing in? So I digress. And here we go on all the way back to strippers and massage parlors.
So I'm finally glad we got back to our roots.
Well, that's
a great one. You got to ask Dave about it when it first got down here. Across the hotel we stayed at, there was an interesting building over there. Dave went inside, and I'll leave it at that. But I don't think anything happened. But it was just a very interesting building in itself in Duluth, up Breckenridge.
Interesting.
Wait a minute, taking notes here. No, I'm kidding. All right, we are coming to the end of this podcast. This has been amazing, Brad. Thank you so much for coming. And yes, we're going to have you and at least one of your 250 partners. How many is it?
Yeah. You missed it. 352.
Thank you. I love this.
But if Phil comes, if he's cheap, he's not bringing the nice whiskey.
No, because this whiskey that we have today was
amazing.
Yeah.
All right. I bring Skull vodka to sip on. Anybody?
Oh,
Skull.
I'm good with this. It's nice and smoky. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but the other vodka, is that the one that like splits your head right down the middle and then splits it in half? I mean, I think I remember having that in college. Maybe it was that or the El Toro tequila.
Oh gosh.
Oh, we can keep going. But anyway, we can't. All right, so we have to keep going. We can't let you leave. But before we let you leave, we have to talk about the Small Business Safari podcast. Go out there, rate, listen. Please listen. I swear to God, our listenership is going nuts right now.
Insane.
It is.
How many we had? Two? We had two?
No, it's more than that.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you what, we've actually grown. We're up I think. God, don't short us. It's 13 and a. It's 13 and a half.
13 and a half. Okay.
13.4. So I'm rounding up to 15,000. But no, it's going great. I'm actually getting a ton of emails. I love the listener feedback about what we need to hear next. One of the ones we need to hear is they want to hear from a restaurateur. And I love that idea.
I think that's a good idea.
I think that's a great idea. So we're going to do that. So go out there, the Small Business Safari, listen to it on your podcast listening Apple device. Of course, but it's really Apple. Let's face it, because I looked it all up. Everybody's on Apple or Spotify. So those are the two. But anyway, we got to let you give us those 3 questions.
Shoot.
To go. You ready?
Yep.
What is the favorite feature of your house?
My favorite feature of the house. Let's see. Oh, never really thought about that. No one has ever asked me that question. I would probably say the pool that we just put in.
Whoa, pool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, talk to me. Is it geometric? Is it
whatever geometric is? I have no idea. Remember, I played baseball junior college.
Oh, that's right. Sorry,
okay,
JUCO college.
Yeah,
let's make it easy. Does it have a diving board?
You can't have a diving board in Georgia.
Right, you can't because you kill kids.
Yeah, I guess, but I've survived.
You have a hot tub.
Yes, they call it a spa here for some reason. I don't know why, but it's a hot tub.
Yeah, it's 24/7. Oh, I love
hot tub. Got a fire pit. It's pretty cool.
Do you have a TV out there?
Not yet. That's phase 2.
Nice.
Chris, phase 2.
That's for Daddy. By the way,
you got to buy a couple copiers before I pay.
All right,
get one of those.
From personal experience, I would tell you that the TV was definitely phase 2.
I'm doing a whole outside kitchen. That's what I'm going to do. But
yeah, that's like phase 25. Someday you may see mine and you'll see that I didn't quite get what I wanted, but that was a different story. But I will tell you, the pool looks exactly like she wanted.
Oh yeah. No, it's looks exactly like she wanted. She wanted it. I didn't even want it.
Yeah.
Oh, I still blame COVID for that. Because COVID happened. Hey, Brad, I think I want a pool. Oh, do you?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a different story for me. It was I resisted, and now I'm our pool boy. It's one of my favorite features of my house.
Oh no,
but I go out there. I love hanging out and doing it. But I finally got my TV. I got my grill. I just didn't get my full outdoor kitchen, but that's a different story. And
You
that's
will.
about me.
You will.
All right.
You
Number
will.
2. What is a customer service pet peeve of yours?
Oh my goodness. When somebody hands me a 1-800 number and I talk to a machine on the other end, that straight up drives me insane. I will hit 0 and ask to talk to a representative 1,000 times.
So you hit 0 pounds, 0 pounds, 0 pounds, 0
Or I'll
pounds.
scream into the phone. You call AOT, you talk to a live human every single time. And it's a 770 number.
We have talked about this so many times that that's what customer service has come down to. And at this age, you talk about keeping it lean and mean. And you got to do this this program that says, hey, I'm going to put an IVR in there. I'm going to do this. I'm going to push people to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6, 4, 5.
Yeah.
And get there. You need to find somebody when you need service. And we talk about that all the time. That's a great point. All right. Number 3.
Yes.
Give us a DIY nightmare story, because I am in the home improvement business and I want to hear about people absolutely screwing the pooch.
He told us he's got a hellacious one. That was the word he used.
Well, there's two. I thought the PDF you emailed over was not a DIY, so I thought of a different one. So there's a 2-part answer to this. There's 2 DIYs I will not do. I will not mess with plumbing, and I will not mess with electrical work.
Amen.
Smart.
But my wife insists on trying to hang stuff by herself for electrical work. And I'm like, Brittany, just call somebody.
Like what?
Oh, she wants to hang this new light or whatever in our kitchen, and she wants to do it herself. And I go, no, call the guy, call the electrician, have him do it. You'll be here starting at 8 a.m. until 7 o'clock at night doing this. And you may or may not be alive when I get home. So can we please call somebody? So it's plumbing and electrical work. Then I thought the other one was like name a house project. I must have been drinking, I guess. I don't know. But putting in the pool was the worst experience of my life. I'll never do it again.
Why is that?
I did not like our pool guy.
Because
At all.
Slow,
Ever.
bad communication. Talk to us a little bit about why.
Lies.
That's personally for
Lies.
Lies are bad.
Lies, lied, overcommitted, underdelivered.
Oh, that's a new one.
Yeah. It just is. I mean,
Welcome to contracting.
It's going to take that whole bottle of Uncle Nearest up there to get through that. So we dug the hole in September of 2021.
Yeah.
Finally just got my final sign off on the permit yesterday, the final permit.
This is just for everybody.
December
timestamp.
1st.
It's December 1, 2022. Ouch.
Do not ever use this guy. If you want to know who it was, call me later.
Yeah, no, let's do that. Let's not do that. All right. Brad,
Was it
thank
an
you for dropping
unusually
it.
complicated hole?
No,
Oh.
not at all.
Okay.
Just
It's what
terrible
contract.
person.
It's contractors. That's what we do. Thank you.
You should feel bad about that, Chris.
I do actually feel bad. I'm telling you, there's a reason. Not only have I the Trusted Toolbox grown here in Atlanta, but I started the Home Service Institute because I think all of us get better when all of us get better. And if we
Great.
need to
Rising
be better at that.
tide floats all boats.
Exactly. Thank you, Alan. Great point. Oh, God, I just gave you one. All right, Brad, thank you so much for spending the time with us and the Small Business Safari Adventure Team. Tell us, how can we get a hold of you and what can we do to help you? Back to networking.
Yeah, no, good question. To get a hold of me, I mean,
There you go, Chris. That's your first one in weeks. Yeah.
to get a hold of me, I don't know if you have my personal information out there for phone number, email or not, but I can give it out.
It's up to you.
Yeah, no, my email address, B as in boy, Dell at youraot.com. And then work number 770-415-1719. And how you can help me is potentially find someone who may need our services in any type of an industry for copier sales.
We have a worldwide audience. Actually, we have a total worldwide audience. We're on 6 continents right now.
6 continents.
We are on 6
I can't
continents.
sell across the pond, but I can sell in Canada.
I love it. Let's do it. Make it happen.
We got a lot of Canadian fans.
We actually do have a lot of
We really
Canadian fans
do.
because we've had a lot of Canadians on and they are listening. So, guys, if you didn't pick up something today, that's your fault, not my fault. That's not Alan's fault.
No, it makes me want
Brad
to go
brought
sell
it.
something.
You know what? If you don't want to dig in and go out there and get
I wanna
laser
pull some
focused
doors.
and pull
Yeah.
doors, it
Yeah.
makes me actually want to go out there and try to cold call again.
Yeah.
All right,
Not really.
Not really. I'm old. I'm tired.
It's fun.
I actually, yeah. You know what? Well, long story short, let's say that was an awesome episode.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here. Everybody, keep going up that mountaintop of success Make it happen. Make today yours. Let's go.
Cheers, everybody.
We're out of here.
Cheers.